Hello and welcome, my name is Sheep Thief and today I'll be coming at you with some WARNO replay analysis. Welcome to this WARNO replay analysis video. Yeah, this is a pretty crazy game sent to me by Airleech, aka High Roller, a member of the Sheep Gang channel. If any of you guys have any replays, whether you're a noob or a experienced player that you want me to look at, as long as they're like an exciting game, it's always my pleasure to do so. So let me know in the comments. And yeah, this game's pretty crazy. I've looked over it twice now and sort of condensed my thoughts, hopefully. And yeah, stick around, it's pretty exciting. And yeah, so here we are in some horrible East German hellscape. There are abandoned cars, suitcases, trash on the ground. The city's been recently evacuated because, oh, what do you know? World War III is breaking out. So, like I said, we've got a replay from High Roller, aka Airleech. Airleech is a fairly he's been watching my videos and then he messaged me saying that he just recently bought the game. So he's a newer player, but I think somewhat familiar with like the idea of the game, and I can't remember if he said that he'd played like War Game or something in the past. So, but new to WARNO. He is playing 8th Infantry, and his ally Shu is playing 2nd Infantry. And then over here we've got their opponents who are playing the Soviet 79th Tank and 56 Desantniki. Now, I'm going to read really quick what Airleech said to me regarding this this game. So he said, I'll let it go a little faster. He said, he thinks he did a good job microing his arty, but he was having trouble pushing across buildings. He says there's a cool moment where his mortars dodge a bombing run at the perfect moment, so we're going to try to look for that. And then he says he's curious to see what I think he could have done better. And he's saying that he didn't know whether or not which side of the map to invest more heavily into, his side or to help his opponent. I think if that's what he's saying. He said that when he tried to push, he says, my initial plan was push with my infantry supported by tanks on either side, but if I recall correctly, I got unlucky picking the side for my tanks because I think at first he had a ton of ATGMs. He specifies that they were homosexuals on one side, but not the other side. And then Sapiri or maybe Spetsnaz were holding the buildings down. And then he says that his opponent's AA game was wild and he couldn't CAS anything, which I think means counter airstrike. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, as for deployment, we'll get it started and I'll try to briefly talk about it. I'm gonna try not to yap max too much on this one. Airleech asked me to say what I think he could do differently, and so I'll try to succinctly give advice while also commentating the game. But I will generally focus on Airleech's perspective, so I hope, or at least emphasize his perspective. So okay, the game kicks off, and I haven't had time to talk about deployment, but really, it's not super complicated. I'll slow it down just a little bit for this. Shu is moving forward with SAS, and Fox is fairly standard for this 2nd Infantry Division. A tracked rapier, that's all the AA he has. A helicopter, some ATGMs, and some, looks like, beefier infantry squads. Coming up, Airleech is moving forward with some scouts in the center, and just sort of a prelude to his general advance, which is a large column of Rangers 2 Stingers, a machine gun, some mech rifles dragon, 3 mech rifles dragon, some small engineer flash squads, and a Pivad and a tow. I like his recon coverage here. What I would say is that, in my opinion, there's not enough AA, because I think what I've seen pro players do is get AA right off the bat, because a lot of times people's first purchase is a laser guided bomb, and this might not be enough to protect it. Yeah. Also, Pivads are generally better in pairs. Over here, I like what the British player is doing. He's getting these SAS forward. What I don't want to see is him pushing forward with the SAS. They're bad at infantry fighting. It's better to have them static and shooting down helicopters. This Soviet player is sending forward a ton of ATGMs and Medises. Like, all of his infantry is Medis infantry. So there's a wall of ATGMs here. As you can see, the SAS, when they're static, immediately start shooting down. This helicopter gets a hit. So what I want to see from the British player, and I'm a noob, so when I say what I want to see, I feel like a clown saying that, but I'm just going to use this kind of language. Anyway, but I'm not, anything I say should be taken with a grain of salt. So I'm also unfamiliar with 2v2, so if there's anything that, anyway, what I want to see SAS do is form a line and not push with these SAS until the better infantry is here. So this blob of Soviet stuff gets caught out, but it's so big that, like, yeah, a Fox goes down. There's one more Fox left. It's getting good shots off here. Like, this is amazing. One thing that would be good here for air leech is a A10. An A10 would be amazing right here. There are a fair amount of Iglas, but they're going to be all suppressed from the Fox. F-16 comes overhead, and I promise I'll turn it up to full speed in a second, but there's so much happening that I'm going to do it like this. And just this blob is so big that it pushes off. Only one Fox dies, actually, so and a Saxon. So not really that bad, but not a lot of damage was done either. Yeah, so some kind of air attack here would be huge. Over here, I haven't talked about the 79th guy's deployment. He's got a ton of Superi and infantry blobbed up in these skyscrapers, and good ATGM coverage, and BMPs slightly further forward than I would think is good, and Iglas, ATGMs, fairly standard, just sort of wall. Big sort of void in the middle here. It's hard to tell that, but just in retrospect. Okay, I'm bringing it up to full speed. Okay, wait, so I remember this. Air leech. I'm gonna pause it one more time. You are doing something wrong. You see all these trucks that are like just sitting here? Like this one, and this one. This is because you need to have a option turned on, and I'll show you the option right now. It's rules of engagement, auto resale needs to be on yes. And basically, the transport that you're bringing your troops in on costs some points. And you don't have that option on, so the transport's just sitting there. And not only is it clogging up your screen, like, these are not useful for anything except transporting infantry around, which is so micro-intensive that it's just not really something people do. But you need to have these auto resale because they're about 20 points each. Some of them more. I think these bigger ones maybe are like 30 points or something. And they will. You can see over here the Soviet player. There are all these trucks leaving the map, and that is because he has the option turned on, and basically he's getting points back. So this is 20, 50, 70, 90, 120, 150. 170 points that he's about to get back more over here. So like 200 points you get back in the beginning of the game from just transports. And so already you're having trouble. You're going to have trouble because you won't have as many points as your opponent has because you don't have that option turned on. I don't know why it isn't automatically on, but it isn't. So you need to turn that on. I did the same thing in the beginning. It'll also unclog your screen. Like, this is a mess. So that's that. Now I'll just commentate the game. Okay, so the British player did what I didn't want him to do, which is push forward with SAS, and it looks like he's lost at least or 1.5 squads. This HSF, I'm not quite sure what this unit is. Meh, but it doesn't look super good against, like, these weapons aren't what you want to see. Over here, Air Leech is pushing forward. Yeah, there's not enough AA coverage here, and so there's going to be a fight that erupts here, but I'm worried that it's going to go in favor of the Soviet player, not only because he's going to have more points because of the auto resale thing, but also because he's just going to, like, yeah, send in this helicopter. Okay, a Pivad sees it, opens up. The Pivad's in a decent position. It could be even further forward. It does shoot down that helicopter, that's good. But I'm more worried about planes, because a Stinger and a Pivad aren't going to be enough to deal with it. These Rangers move forward out in the open, coming into range of the Superi, and he gets into this squad. Oh yeah, so this is one of the things he said. So Superi and Engineers use satchel charges, and they have a range of 150 meters, and they just do damage to the building that they're used on, like artillery. So it doesn't even matter how good your units are, they're going to take damage. And as you can see, Rangers just got demolished as you know. Then they have to retreat back out in the open where the Moto Shulky are going to be good. Nice laser guided bomb comes in, but it does go down. Very nice laser guided bomb from Air Leech, but it was maybe a little too far forward, and your opponent's AA network is starting to build up. He's got Iglas in a pretty wide line, and then a Cub back here to support. Over here, yeah, look, he pushed forward with the SAS. And they're just not good at infantry fighting, even though they're triple vetted. Ugh. Damn. Those are important squads. I think that they're better just holding a line. It might get away one hit. Maybe. I'm not sure. Over here, Air Leech has pushed forward into the skyscraper again. The skyscraper complex is quickly becoming a zone of death. Over here, there are Flash Engineers trying to move forward. So Flash Engineers, unlike normal engineers, you want to engage at about 500. You see that ring around them? And this is such a small squad. I almost wonder if it's worth it using these. They try to push through to this. They try to push through to this, and it looks like HE bomber comes in there. Flash Engineers start fighting the Superior, and they've got their smaller squad, and they're doing decently well. But the Superior will win this. Yeah. So these I think are better suited for forest fighting. So you want to push them over here. But the push comes forward. Air Leech is trying to take this skyscraper complex. And he's close. This infantry is bravely pushing across. This is a Mech Rifles Dragon squad. Spraying down the Superior at range. They are better suited to this long-range fighting, but they come into this skyscraper and get enfiladed by enemy helicopters and just sprayed down. Stinger shoots down a helicopter. So not a terrible trade, depending on what that helicopter was. The Mech Rifles Dragon and a helicopter, I think, costs a similar amount. So maybe a good trade. These Mech Rifles Dragon are starting to push through to here. And this is an okay scenario for them if they stay in this building. If they get in this building, this Zvezka Superior will start using their satchels on them. But right here would be okay. And it'd be good to kill these units over here. But I'm a little worried. What? Zvezka Superior. Yeah, the helicopter sees it and just wins the engagement. Needs to. The AA line has not met up, and this Stinger's out of ammo. So over here, the British player is now doing what I thought he should do in the beginning, which is creating kind of a line, which will sort of stop the Soviet player in his tracks. And he can build up and start probing around the sides. with that sort of thin red line right there, so to speak. Although now that they're in NATO, maybe it's a blue line. Monet and Abrams comes up along this road here, which I think is a good idea. Sending forces along this road, like a recon in here. I don't know this map at all, but comes forward. Soviet artillery is starting. I'm starting to feel the pain of it. The Stinger and Mech Rifles Dragon get out, so that's good. Okay, so mortars coming down. I think I saw everyone using mortars. And in this game, mortars are really unrealistically ineffective. In real life, this would be like making this whole area uninhabitable. They would leave. If it landed on top of them, they would die. That would be... I don't know, what is this thing? It's a BTR. It might be able to survive that, I don't know. So yeah, Ehrlich is using his mortars too, and he mentioned in his messages to me that he was like frustrated by how absolutely terrible the mortars are, and all I can say is I've had the same experience. They're unrealistic in this game. So a bit of a stalemate on both sides as people continue to build up. Over here, there's a fight for this sort of suburb in here. Nice coverage with the Milans by the British player, and yeah, a lot of the Soviet infantry gets pushed back as they kind of push too far up. And yeah, I like this advance here. Again, I would keep the SAS still and push up with other infantry, but I think this was good timing on the British player. He pushes forward and now has the upper hand, and he has a position in the point. Over here, Flash Engineers move forward again, and they're too weak. This squad has like 5 people in it, and you're going up against like 20 people right there. So M1A when Abrams starts getting nice shots off, but it comes into the vision of this Conkers from way far out, right on the edge of its range. Very unfortunate. Is it gonna go down? Fire flying all over the place. M1A when Abrams takes a hit, pops smoke, and makes it out alive. Nice save there. I think, yeah, just almost unlucky there. Mortars falling down. Definitely doing a good job of suppressing the enemy. Like, this is, in my opinion, good combined arms. Mortars are just bad, so you're not getting the kill, but they do get chased off here. And then I think what you want is like recon in all of these, and then just ignore the skyscrapers and push straight through. And you need AA to deal with the helicopters. But it's out of ammo now, so this I think could be a moment to try to push forward, especially if your Flash Engineers weren't so weak. But not weak, but brittle. And now, because you're static, you're gonna just probably get targeted with AA. A Sneed comes out, misses the Tunguska, and lives. The Wild Weasel Sneed. I like it. The Wild Weasel is like the quintessential Sneed plane. Very cool. Ooh. A nasty like cluster bomb or something there. Maybe that's HE. Kills a lot of the stuff in here, and there goes Ehrlich's the tip of the spear right there. Yeah, it's just something that I don't know why it works like this, but sky towers make you more visible. So you don't want to put expensive units in towers. You can put like recon in there, like cheap recon, and ATGMs I think are pretty good, but not offensively. Like, you see how his ATGM back here, this defensive skyscraper, it's good because it's like behind his front line, so it has good vision and it can like kill stuff that comes up. Pushing stuff forward into a skyscraper just makes them get seen by everything and sprayed down. Over here, the British player has gotten a beachhead into this Soviet point. Very nice. I think what I've learned is to spread your infantry out to the very edge of these cities so that you can see. Best thing to have is recon and like stingers up here because their stealth isn't bad. fight breaks out in this little suburb. Cool fight here. You see the British infantry crossing the field. Soviet infantry moves into the house, gets completely surrounded. Huge, small arms fight, breaking this poor benighted East German town apart. And yeah, this British player's done a good job here, and he does have this commander in there. Again, I think it's best to, every single one of these houses should have a unit in it. ATGMs, anti-aircraft, anything you can get in there should just start pouring in to reinforce it and just get vision. ATGM starting to deal with this like BTR like blob here. This BTR blob is pretty bad. A tank, well maybe. There's a lot of armor here. So ATGMs, and then the problem with what I'm saying about just occupying everything there is that these Soviet 2v2 players seem pretty on the ball with their artillery. It's kind of relentless, actually. Over here, Air Leech is using infantry of his own. He gets this nice attack on this double superior squad. It looks like they're both gonna... Oh, they get out at the perfect moment, and so unlucky with not stunning them too. That's bad luck. To me, they should have gotten stunned and killed right there. I guess good micro on the part of Sads. Nice micro on the Martyr or Warrior Milan. Metis squad gets a hit on the Challenger. HE bomb comes out, it goes down to all the Igla spam. Right idea, but I guess maybe that bomber's bad, like none of those things died, but they're all basically useless now. And it seems like through a combination of artillery and planes, because he didn't have a lot of AA moved up, the British position here has been eroded. I would say that my main advice to both the British player and Air Leech is to push your AA up to right behind your front line. You see how, so Air Leech in his comment said that the AA game of his opponent was crazy, and it's really not that crazy, it's just that he's doing it right. There are Cubs in the back, Tunguska's slightly forward, and then Igla's literally amidst his front line. Igla on the front line. Whereas you, Air Leech, have a Stinger back here, a Stinger back here, and I think that's it, a Stinger here. So 3 Stingers way behind your front line. Your front line is up here, your closest Stinger is back here, almost at the edge of its range, halfway to the edge of its range. Whereas your opponent's Igla is, I mean, where's the furthest? This one is literally like less than 100 meters from the front. So, and then the British player did the same thing. He has no AA up here. He has a tracked rapier back here, and so that's why his position got eroded, or partially why. So I'll stop harping on that, but that is, I think, a major error, and an error that I make as well. So, okay, over here, laser guided bomb comes. Looks like it didn't fire its shot. Helicopters move forward, but there are a lot of Iglas. Those are going to go down. And the CV is now getting in a fight with 2 of these squads here. A bunch of people in this building. And they kill the commander. Mortars continue to rain down. Milan misses. So I think, yeah, I think I saw some M1A and Abrams come out through here. So that was a push by Air Leech, but it got intercepted by ATGMs and BMPs and T-80s. Over here, the artillery continues to rain down, and as the British player loses this position, it's a bit of a lull in the fighting. Tracked Rapier moves up finally, so he can now sort of push with this, although there should be more AA, but at least he can do something. Tracked Rapier opens up on the Su-24, misses. Yeah. Mortar fire continues to rain down, ineffectively, because mortars are bad in this game. But there's a healthy lead that the British player got for Team NATO here. Artillery continuing to just pound down. Oh no. Okay, nice. A good sidestep here with Air Leech's artillery. Also, look at this weapon. Look how cool it is. So, like, what a disturbing weapon. Nobody would want to have to get hit with that. He's got a bomb, kills a Challenger. The tracked Rapier is gone, so now these helicopters can just come and stop this push here. Fox getting some good shots in here. This infantry is still forming the wall, which I think is okay. Milan 2 in a good position here. For Air Leech, he's pushing forward again into this skyscraper complex. As you can see, the one of these skyscrapers is burning down. Wild Weasel Sneed comes in. Why isn't it getting rid of the HUD? That's sort of annoying, I think. Weird. Okay, so Sneed hanging around. I think you want... I don't know. I'm not great with Sneeds myself, but I think you'd want 2 because there's so much radar here that it's sort of just going to brute force. Some M1A1 Abrams move up, but there are a lot of ATGMs here. Cluster bomber comes out. Side shot with the Conkers. BMP goes down. Very cinematic battle here. One of the M1A1s goes down. And this tank push is fended off, but a fair amount of damage done to this infantry. A lot of units in here. Fire crisscrossing across the field. Laser guided bombs come in to try to shut it down. AT plane goes really deep, but because of the lack of AA, it only takes 1 hit. Artillery continuing to rain down. And another skyscraper is on fire. Someone gets smoked here. I'm not sure who smoked that. T-80s move up on this flank, and that's bad. Because these mech rifles Dragon are so low cohesion that they're not going to be able to hit their anti-tank missile. Something got destroyed there, and now this whole look at this. Let's see. This is where we started looking at in the game. It's completely on fire. Very cool. Over here, British player pushing forward into the city again. This push into this suburb has been, I think, pretty good for securing this flank. the Soviet blob over here is going to have a hard time pushing up. Also, I think this player might be making the same mistake Ehrlich is making, not selling his vehicles. Not sure. But yeah, look at all the vehicles just lying around. That's just from that option. So tow twos move forward. These are good units, but they're sort of out in the open here. I'm worried they're just going to die to artillery. Look at this. This is where we it's sick. Sorry. Alright, artillery hitting big blob of tanks. How does he even see that? Nice reaction speed there from Ehrlich, backing him up before a disaster unfolds. Bit of a lull here. There's been a lot of fighting here and sort of in here. As you can see, the fires are. Look, you can see the fire over there in the background. What an amazing game. The British player has more AA, so everything that he's doing is going to be more successful because of the AA. He's got some unloaded arm rifles there. SAS pushing, which, as you guys know, is not my favorite thing. Get some shots off on this MI8. Fight opens up here as the Russian player tries to take back control of the suburb. Fox explodes to Metis infantry, but they're taking shots from the Challenger, which is worth it. AT plane though fires at the Challenger and does take it down. Will he be destroyed? Okay, that one goes down. This one does not. So it's probably about an even trade there. Looks like the British player is commanding this sort of area in here. In this situation, I think SAS could be moved forward to here or here to do something in this fight. Cluster bomber doesn't get its shot off, goes down, lands in the midst of these tanks. I think did it kill it with its, oh it did, the fire from that killed the, oh no, there's artillery landing there too, that might have been. Over here, as I suspected, the TOW-2 is going to get hit with artillery as it gets seen. And Ehrlich's position here is the spearhead has been blunted, but it may have created the space necessary for the British player to get this lead. And the build-up continues, and honestly there aren't that many tanks for the 79th Gvardia tank division, although I think he's like, wait, I need to get tanks, and so there are more tanks coming up, and that is what I can see spelling the demise for Ehrlich here. Also just all of this points that he should have. 20, like there are like 500 points of transports there. M1A1 Abrams catches out these two big squads here. Now the Soviet player is making a sort of ill-advised attack here as they walk through fire. Soviet troops dropping like flies. They back up. Their comrades fall around them. You see their corpses on the ground. Fire from every direction. One goes down. The other one survives somewhat unscathed. F-16 and MiG get in a fight, and I would imagine this MiG goes down. It does. Over here, the British player has gotten control of the enemy sector and somehow killed the enemy CV. So they're now at a +4, which is huge. These DSH RPG 22 squads are sent forward, but they're already like kind of looking a little worse for wear. Yeah, good job by the British player, kind of securing a route into this place. Milan goes down to this wave of ATGMs. And this looks like an M1A1 Abrams from Air Leech walking into the same place. What's it doing? Why isn't it okay. I must have had it on a move fast order or something because it kept moving and took side shots there. Soviets get a CV back into their thing. Fight breaks out here. The British player pulls out his air rifles. I think that was good. The Soviet infantry is kind of doomed here to try to assault this. Will they make it to the building? It looks like they will. Get in the building and they get in this fight. Artillery starting to rain down. The artillery fire from these Soviet players is constant. It's insane. Okay, so it looks like it's Air Leech doing the smoking. Artillery comes down. British player continues to flood infantry into here, which is the correct move, despite the artillery fire. Only 10 minutes left, so we should be just funneling stuff in there and trying to move along to get more space and dodge the artillery fire. Just keep moving up to the edge. Like if you got some infantry squads here, all of this could get cleared out. This Igla, these Conquerors. If you got some infantry squads with like this, one of these, two of these could wipe all this out if they could dodge that. Helicopters move up and because the AA is gone, start wiping this out. Now, what I'm worried about has begun for Air Leech, which is a tank push. A lot of tanks here cause some serious problems. Nice smoke everywhere to kind of obscure what's going on. Mech Rifles Dragon go down. The infantry pushes up into these skyscrapers once more. These burned skyscrapers. LRS squad amidst the assault. This isn't, in my opinion, how you should use LRS. LRS should be on the flanks, helping you get vision. They're an expensive unit, and they can hold their own against like another scout. And what I like to use them for is taking out like if you see with your LRS like a ATGM or a Igla or a Stinger or something, they can take on one of those and kill it really easily. But you don't want them just fighting on the front line. LRS go down. I love LRS, they're one of my favorite squads, they're bosses. It's always sad to see them die. And the British position, largely due to lack of AA, has been pushed out, and a huge wave of Soviet infantry is coming up here. A giant wave, actually. And Milan coming at these BMPs. This is a huge column of infantry here. Will it be able to punch through? It does force the commander out. Oh, it's so stacked in there. There's a guy's bomb. Oh, there's a cluster. There's an HE. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh. 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 That was a nice bombing run. So much for that counter push. They're all dead. There's like one BMP's like, comrades, are you okay? Okay. Oh, this artillery is so brutal. Ugh. What kind of artillery even is that? What's doing that? Cuts, yeah. Is that it? Is that what's doing that? No. Must be... I don't know what unit is doing it. TDBV's running into this air mobile here. Get it. Gets the TADBB, paying for itself, leaves district. Good micro. Oh, he surrendered. Okay. So Shu surrenders. And I don't know why, because... I'm not sure why he surrendered there. Mortars come forward. Or fire forward as the Soviet player controls this skyscraper complex, and the game is about to end, so we'll talk about the whole thing, I guess. I don't quite understand. So the Soviets end up surrendering and winning, and High Roller and Shu get the victory. I think the British player won over here, but he got pushed out. Maybe he felt like maybe he'd used all his infantry or something. I don't quite know. Maybe that's why he surrendered. And then over here, I think the air leech was in trouble. First of all, he's just down on points. Second of all, his like network of ATGMs and AA has been seriously eroded. He has one Stinger kind of forward, but it's out of ammo. His mech rifles Dragon are wounded or dead and not in position. And I'm worried that the 79th tank player could just move across here, but he ends up surrendering or something, and Air Leech ends up winning. But this to me is a bad position for Air Leech. But definitely a crazy game, bloody game. I really liked the fighting in here. It was fun. But just from a pure gameplay perspective, you need to turn on that option and then get your AA a little further forward, and then just weird stuff like satchels versus flash, which it's not intuitive at all. Nothing in this game is intuitive, so I don't think you did anything egregiously wrong, considering that you are new. British player did pretty well at pushing up, but again, same thing, no AA coverage. Resulted in his fairly well-coordinated attacks just being pushed off with small numbers of helicopters and just eroded with bombing runs. And then when you add on top of that this Soviet artillery spam, which there's not really a counter to except maybe moving around and I don't know, pushing hard. Like the longer this goes on, the more brutal it's gonna be. But yeah, GG. I'm trying to think if I haven't adjusted anything that Air Leech talked about. I don't think so. Again, Your opponent's AA felt like it was crazy just because it was closer to the front. Good players, from what I've seen, have their AA really far pushed up, and they have a good sense of like where they, how cheekily close to the front they can get their AA. Whereas newer players either forget about AA, which is kind of what you did, or they keep their AA too far back, kind of like your opponent did or your ally did, or they and then when you add on top of that the sort of, to me it's like sort of intermediate level to be able to consistently like I still struggle with consistently supplying like forward units and stuff. It just results in newer players having a worse AA situation. Like your AA situation and your allies' AA situation is way worse than this Soviet one, which is weird because Soviet AA is pure trash. So get the NATO AA units and get them closer to the front, and I think everything will go better. Your planes will feel better, your infantry will feel better, your tanks will feel better, your you know, everything will be better if you do that. Then as for the Soviet players, I wasn't really looking at this from their perspective, so I don't really know, but they seemed like they kind of spammed in a wall. Spammed artillery like crazy. It was disgusting, actually. This guy had a good wall here. This was good. This player was, I thought he played pretty well. This player, I don't quite know what he was doing. He sort of lost the game for them. Anyway, we'll let it keep going. So it looks like right as there's like this tank assault about to happen, the Soviets surrender. They just, and there's a victory for them. Oh, they got disconnected. Okay, that's what happened. So I don't know. Final thoughts, High Roller. No, why does that say Sheep Thief? Whatever. Okay, so your ally was rank 548. We can't see his. For some reason it's bringing up my rank, which as of now is 3,000. This guy's 1900, and this guy is, he doesn't have a rank, which is weird because he was playing pretty well. Kills and losses. It looks like this is air leeches. Yeah. Yeah, these Sneeds did well. This Sneed did okay, actually. But there's so much AA that it was like, I think maybe going in from an angle might have worked. I'm not sure. And definitely using two at the same time. For your opponent, yeah, Bomber got a lot of kills. These, okay, so these are 240 millimeter mortars. Those are huge mortars. These mortars did all right. Grads did all right. This artillery did all right. Nothing did crazily well. That's pretty much it. I hope this was good. If anyone has any replays that you want to send in, just let me know, and I will commentate your games. I like it. And let me know if you want advice. I know, so Airleech asked for advice, so I hope I wasn't overdoing it with advice in this one. But if you want me to not yap about what you should or shouldn't be doing in retrospect, I totally understand, and I'll just commentate it without giving my 2 cents on how to play this game that I am not particularly good at myself. And then
yeah, if you like this, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.